rocky docked or sailing smooth. A loving relationship is one in which the loved one is free to be himself, to laugh with me but never at me, to cry with me but never because of me, to love life, to love himself, to love being loved. Such a relationship is based upon freedom and can never grow in a jealous heart. Relationships play such a vital role in our daily life, so I knew I had to cover this topic. I went around to relationship experts, but my main focus was the everyday person. I wanted to know what people are really feeling. Those who have overcome relationships that weren't working, couples who have been married for 20 years and are still going strong, and others who found their dream partner. I came to realize that it's in fact just like a ship. It all depends on how it's sailing. You could be on really rocky seas, nearly falling off. You could be sailing very smoothly. And you could be docked and waiting to be taken out. Let's start with the relationships that are. These are the ships that sway from side to side and never seem to settle. I definitely found myself aboard this ship a few times in my life. A lot of it has to do with not being self-aware and not knowing exactly what you want, or knowing but not taking appropriate action. One guy in particular who seemed to be clashing with his girlfriend asked me what he should do. This one is very difficult because trying to get the truth out of someone is a battle in itself. Some people will defend their partner because they don't want to portray them as the villain. Sometimes they don't mention their own faults, or they attempt to put all the blame on the other person. There seems to be a lot of attacking and defending on either end. It's also hard to get the truth out because many believe love is the sole reason they should be with their partner. I believe saying "but I love him, her" does not offer a strong enough reason on its own to stay with someone. I'm sure we are quite aware that we can fall in love many times, and on occasion with those who aren't right for us. It doesn't mean they're not right as people, it just means they're not right for us. We get sucked in by attraction and other things initially that get a good hold on us. But then every date with the person feels like a blind date, because we just don't know what is going to happen next. I sat this guy down and I asked this question. What do you love about her, and why are you with her? This was his answer. She makes me laugh. She keeps me on my toes. I'm really attracted to her. She keeps me strong when I feel weak. She gets along well with my family. I love her, and I can communicate with her. I went on to ask him what he loves about himself, and he gave me only 3 answers and then struggled. How can we confidently give the best of ourselves if we aren't even sure what we can offer? How can we ever know what we want when we don't even know who we are? We must be the great person we wish to see in a partner, or else we will sadly never find happiness. A couple of years ago on Valentine's Day, my mother asked me who I was going out for dinner with. I let her know that I was going by myself, but assured her I wasn't crazy. I wanted to go on a date with me and ask what type of person I am, what I want out of my life, and what's important to me. I'm so thrilled I did, because that night brought up a lot of answers and created many opportunities for change. With regard to the first question, I asked the guy, "What do you love about her, and why are you with her?" I explained that every single answer had me, or I, in it, and was nothing short of selfish. It seems that our relationships start to become all about our own desires, rather than being a paired force and helping each other grow. So I said to him, instead of saying she makes me laugh, how about her amazing sense of humor? So when she isn't there to make you laugh on a particular occasion, it's okay, because she is still funny, and you will always recognize that. Your partner has her own life as well. It's not her full-time job to fulfill you. That's your own job. Instead of saying she gets along well with my family, how about she is family-oriented? Can you notice the huge difference this small shift in attitude could have on a relationship? You must focus on your partner's qualities, not only on what they can offer you. So many relationships start becoming all about what one person wants, and one person taking control of the situation. You have to shift your focus to the other person and why you are really with them, because it's going to make you appreciate them on a completely different level. Acknowledging their great assets is the pillar that will hold you both up when challenges arise. Let's face it, as long as we are alive, there are going to be some cracks. But if it's all about you, then you can bet it's not going to hold up too well. Consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll understand what little chance you have in trying to change others. Another major breaking point I discovered through talking to many people about the topic, and through my own experiences, is that we believe our partner fills gaps within us that we don't believe we can fill ourselves. This seems to be the biggest unconscious issue many face. When that person isn't there to fill that part up for whatever reason, we start fighting, begin to doubt, and things crumble. Being an unconscious issue means we are not really aware that this is the case, but it warrants these deeper questions. Are you really in love with who they are, or are you in love with what you think they fulfill in you, that you don't believe you can fulfill yourself? Did you have a clear indication of what you wanted out of a life partner when you met them? Did you really get to know them? At the end of the day, no one can fulfill anything that you don't already have access to. When we truly believe that we need a person to live, it puts strain on the relationship. We make ourselves believe that if they are not around, we are out of whack, can't function, are unable to get by or do anything in our life. I'm here to tell you now that everything you think you need, you already have. It might just be qualities you are not yet using. Be with someone because you truly want them, not because you feel you need them or have to have them. An expectation from others can really be an invitation for disappointment. When we expect things to happen and also believe that the other person has to do things, it prevents us from appreciating the great things they do for us. Realistically, they don't have to do anything, but if they do, it should be because they want to, not because they feel like they have to. If you have to keep asking them to do something and they eventually do it, but you just feel it's not coming from their heart, then it's only because you made them do it. No real satisfaction should be drawn from that, and, to be honest, maybe that person isn't really your greatest match. If they're right for you, things just happen. You shouldn't feel like you are continually forcing them to. We must be at peace with ourselves and actually want that person for who they really are. You must respect they also have a life that should be lived. A partner's role is to help the other person with their aspirations and add as much value as they possibly can to their life. A healthy relationship is evident when both people seem to bring the best out of each other and shine simultaneously. A life partner is not about battling each other, but overcoming life's challenges together. Here are 3 ways to create a more fulfilling relationship. Command your own emotions, not your partner's. If you don't do this, your relationship won't stand a chance. Set up compelling visions together. If you don't have something to look forward to, you will burn out. Sometimes people are still together, but it doesn't mean their relationship is alive. What do you want your relationship to be like? How can you make it that way? What can you both do to bring that about? What would you like to achieve together? Create a strategy plan that you both work through to get those desired visions and outcomes. If you must, let go. The jump is so frightening between where I am and where I want to be. Because of all I may become, I will close my eyes and leap. Our happiness as individuals will almost always be based on the decisions we make, or the ones we want to make, but aren't following through. People experience unhappiness because the expectations they have set for their life haven't been met. This goes for our finances, emotional state, and predominantly for our relationships. It really does come down to what you want out of your life. If you know in your heart that your current relationship is something you don't wish to participate in any longer, you must feed your truth. There are many people who turn around after leaving their relationship and say, "I really want it back." It may be the 5th time they have attempted to end it, but every time the same story is repeated. The question must then be asked, do they want it back, or do they fear the unknown because they haven't yet built the inner strength to let it go? By probing deeper, the answers I have heard over and over again are that they really want to get far away from the whole situation and have the feeling of being free from it. They just remind themselves of why they can't, not how they can. When they accept that can't is a choice, they automatically realize they can. My truth was telling me for so long that I didn't want to be in my past relationship, and I would definitely have a lot more money if I saved $1 for every time I ignored it. I would continually think, this person isn't right for me, get out and run. I would then get down on my knees and say, God, just give me a sign. The funny thing was that asking for a sign was actually the sign itself. The signs are right there, we see them all day, and that deep voice inside will always be there to remind us. I now believe that if it's an I don't know, then it's a no. That goes for business, relationships, and everything else. Unless I am absolutely certain, it's a no-go zone. That's not to say I can't make myself certain or that I need to know instantaneously, but I won't fully commit my life to it until I am. A sad thing in life is that sometimes you meet someone who means a lot to you, only to find out in the end it was never bound to be and you just have to let go. We are also able to build that certainty when we want to leave a partner. If you have ever been in a relationship where you were not fulfilled and finally gained the courage to leave, you would know that there comes a point when the pain is just too strong and the grass is too green on the other side. Just like anything in life, a shift of emotion caused you to act rapidly, and you finally left. You hit that point in your life when you said, "That's it, I've had enough." That day came when you refused to continue living someone else's life. I'm sure you also became frustrated with trying to take control over their life, because that's not what it's about. It's not our duty to attempt to turn someone into us because that will surely create a clash. And essentially, who gives us the right to do that anyway? The reason we become involved with someone is so we can both add different elements to each other's life. Never attempt to make the other person live your life. They should respect yours, and you should respect theirs. Like I said, if they are right for you, then things aren't that difficult. You don't continually force them and they don't feel like they have to do something. They just do it. When you attempt to control someone else's life, it only reflects the lack of control you have over your own. Most of the time we drive ourselves crazy trying to figure out what our partner is thinking. Why did they do that? Why did they hurt me? Or why are they acting that way? How about you? In doing this, we neglect to take accountability for our own life and realize it's never what they have done. It's what we allow them to do. Once we take charge, the decisions to follow will bring the outcome we deeply desire. You must take charge of your own emotions and mental state. They are who they are, but you must be responsible for you and start making decisions accordingly. If they are not willing to make change, then you must. And in my opinion, a person can only give you as much love as they find within themselves. In determining whether someone is a life partner or not, I think it's crucial that your core values do not clash with their values. At the end of the day, our values are the things we live by. I was speaking to a client of mine who always wanted to travel and eventually have children, but her partner's belief was that traveling was a waste of money, and he didn't want to have kids. Obviously, not really knowing what she wanted out of a life partner when she met him, she didn't probe those major details. By the time she found out, she had already built a love for him. He wasn't willing to compromise, and he didn't want her to travel on her own. The things this guy valued most in his life were obviously quite different from hers. So I told this woman to write down everything she wanted to do or accomplish in her life and add up whether his traits would allow them to grow together. After she did the exercise, she discovered that she had put on hold nearly the whole list for him. She needed to take accountability for that and stop blaming him for her inaction. He wasn't wrong. It's just not what he wanted out of his life. In order for her to live her life, she needed to leave him. After a 5-year relationship, she ended it. She was hurting for a while and assured me it wasn't easy, but it was the best decision she ever made. She finally visited her family overseas and started her own business. She also promised me that she would never be with another guy who didn't want to have children. That has now made the top of her must list. She has created clarity and learned from her past experience, and that's how we grow and attract what we want. Don't lose yourself just because you found somebody. If the things we value most aren't aligned with our partner, how can we ever expect our relationship to be successful? Anytime you experience conflict with someone, it's because they have trodden on the things you value most in your life. No one likes the values they live by or what they stand for to be trampled on or questioned. If you have ever been uncertain when making a decision, it's because you were still unsure of what you valued most in that situation. Many people settle for someone who has vastly different values than them and who stands for completely different things. The importance of some things to them is lesser or greater than it is to their partner. Is it any wonder why these relationships continue to clash? Attraction, wealth, Social status, loneliness, and emptiness are just a few factors that will make us hang around. I highly advise putting someone's core values at the top of your list if you want a fulfilling relationship. If you are unhappy in your relationship now because of this clash, and you know the person will never change, not that they have to or even should, then it's time to reassess and make a decision. Furthermore, people confuse lust with love. People obsess over someone they just met, or think they like someone they don't even really know. We then crave attention from them, and being ignored by the only person you want attention from is one of the worst feelings. We have all felt it. But when you look deep enough, you realize that the person you are really craving attention from is yourself. I think when we feel vulnerable to someone else's attention, it's life telling us that we aren't giving ourselves enough. It's usually a buildup of self-neglect that gets us to such a needy stage. And in essence, that person was the wake-up call. You need to learn how to love yourself again. Stop letting your happiness be dependent on someone else's mood. The qualities that we value most, the standards on the top of our list, and the morals that mean the most to us shape our life. Some of the things you value most could be respect, communication, going on vacations with someone. However, someone else might have a different view of those things. They might consider texting you back 3 days later acceptable, when you feel like that is an unacceptable lack of communication. You might feel like following through on plans you've made with someone is a sign of maturity and integrity, where someone else may not really care or think twice about not following through. I believe there is a level of compromise, but I also think there is only so long we can live with things we don't really accept or respect. A partner should help you feel secure, not make you feel like you are constantly walking on eggshells. Even though people have different values, we all have the same needs. One of those needs is to be loved for who we really are, not who we pretend to be. We need someone with similar values to help us grow. If we feel as though someone lives by a different charter of values, we will always have a lack of understanding and frustration toward them. We may even feel that the person is slowing us down. I'm not saying you should not be with someone who has different traits. Look hard at what values that person stands for in their life. The myth of never going to find someone again is just that, a myth. Don't be fooled. In time you will. Ex-partners play a very important role in our destiny. They make us see what we definitely don't want, so what we do want becomes clearer. I think it's wasting your life being with someone that you don't really want to be with. We make ourselves believe that it's so hard to follow our truth, but it is much harder living a lie. Continually remind yourself of the greater plan and why you have actually decided to leave. Your mind will play tricks on you, but essentially that deep voice inside will not hesitate to be brutally honest. I personally directed my thoughts and feelings to the notion of being free from the emotional chains that were holding me back, and I would visualize living my own life. The hard reality is that one person usually gets hurt a bit more than the other, but you are not really hurting them in the long run. In time, they will know that, because it's far more selfish being with someone that you don't really want anymore. You will be doing both of you a massive favor, and it's okay if they don't see it right away. If you have been on the receiving end of a breakup and have a broken heart, I have a message for you from my own experience. You are only really in a battle with yourself. You are more frustrated with the fact that you allowed yourself to be treated that way, upset with letting yourself go, losing who you are, and sacrificing so much. But I applaud you for your courage to wear your heart on your sleeve. It's the only way to truly experience love. The challenge is within you, not against the other. The mission is to regain your own trust, get yourself back, and rebuild the beautiful relationship you once had with yourself. And it will happen. All the best on your journey to find an even higher plane of being, a deeper fulfillment, and a better understanding of yourself. We shouldn't have a partner to fill our emotional gaps with their presence. They should be there to complement the gaps we have already filled and help us find a way to fill the ones we haven't. Doct, you want to come into my life, the door is open. You want to get out of my life, the door is open. Just one request. Don't stand at the door, you're blocking the traffic. If you're just waiting to set sail, then you are at an absolutely great point. By making the right decisions and taking appropriate action, you will attract someone like never before. That dream person won't be a fairy tale so much as a reality waiting to happen. As I mentioned earlier, what you focus on, you will be sure to find. If we say, for example, I don't want someone who is disrespectful, or I don't want someone who is selfish, then you can bet you are going to notice it everywhere. Remember back in the focus and find section when we discussed the reticular activating system in your brain? Now you're thinking back and believing that all guys, girls are the same, and you hold on to that belief. You think about it, dwell on it, and more important, you reinforce it. You have an unconscious notion always ready to display itself with every person you meet. In truth, what hope do you really give someone new with that mindset? Regardless of how they might act, it will totally change the way you approach the situation, so the situation will change. Your tone of voice, the types of people you are attracting, your body language, and your snap judgment all play a vital role. It's as if you wait in anticipation for someone to mess up so you can prove yourself right. They could say or do something very innocent, but to you it's catastrophic, because you will relate anything back to your belief. Then you wonder why the same challenges seem to arise, and every person you meet has the same faults. I don't believe in coincidence, we attract things. However, even if you believe in it, don't you think it's gone past the point of coincidence? If there is a constant pattern, are you the one who needs to start making changes? On the flip side, you could shift your mindset. You could acknowledge that your ex wasn't what you wanted, so you now know what you don't want in a person, and more important, you now have clarity about what you do want. If you keep dwelling on what you don't want, all you do is replay your old relationship over and over again with everyone you meet. You might even turn bitter and cringe at the sight of a loving couple. With that attitude, who would want to be with you? You need to focus on the things you want in order to make the changes that will align with your dream partner. When you make change, the vibe you give off will scream, I'm ready to embrace someone new. In saying that, sometimes we focus on what we want so hard it shows itself, and then we think it's too good to be true. Opportunities to grasp what you really want display themselves many times in your life, but it is up to you to grasp them. All change starts with you. Attracting a dream partner. To create something different, you must do something different. Before we go to the grocery store, we should write down a list of what we want. If we don't, then it seems we just walk around and settle for things that we never wanted in the first place. We will buy some chocolate, even though we went there to buy broccoli. We will get home, eat it, and then kick ourselves for buying it in the first place. Most important, we forgot the broccoli. If you're getting my drift, in order to get what we really want out of a life partner, we must make it real. We must have a clear indication of what we actually want in life to get it. All things manifested begin as a creation in our mind, which we should then seal by writing it down. This will allow you to refer back to that sheet and remind yourself of what you really want. That will enhance the reality by providing more visibility. Just keep in mind that we don't always get what we want, but there are certain things we must have. Never settle for less than the musts, but be lenient with the wants. I wouldn't reject someone because they didn't have the size 8 feet I envisioned. And I wouldn't be taking my sheet along to a date. Don't be like a strict school teacher marking the sheet with every word they say. Things don't always turn out exactly the way you create them in your mind, but make sure the fundamentals are in place and you get the same feeling. The present doesn't always come wrapped with a ribbon, but that's your chance to go and put one on, because you're going to help that person grow as well. It shouldn't be so much about what you can take from this person, but what you can give. Don't be one of those love hoppers. That's what I call them anyway. All they do is jump from one person to another, just hoping the right person will pop up one day. I'm sure we all know someone who has barely broken up with one partner and is already with another. But you hear the same story, which is, I just can't find the one. Instead, have faith initially and use your power to be as certain as possible. Clarification of what you want. Write down what you want and must have in life partner, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Write down everything. Remember, an example would be, I want someone who is respectful, not, I don't want someone who is disrespectful. People always seem to write down what they don't want. Make sure you write down what you want. Now that you have written down your perfect match, ask yourself these questions. Why would they want to be with me? What would I have to do in order to attract someone like that? If I was that exact person on my list and went on a date with me, would I want to go out with myself? These questions demand that you are completely honest with yourself to get great answers and find areas for growth. If you have written down that you want someone who is fit and healthy, you can bet they are not going to want to be with someone who doesn't look after their body or who eats McDonald's every day. If you are out getting drunk all the time, but you have written down that you want someone who is in touch with their spiritual side, that's a conflicting belief. If you must have someone who is happy, would they want to be with someone who has a permanent frown and doesn't enjoy life? These are just a few examples, but I'm sure you get the drift. We try to make ourselves believe that we can get things we want without making changes first. We must gain the balance of what we want and what we are going to do to get it, because that will ensure our confidence as well. Task 2. Making change. Go back to your list and note what you can do in order to attract someone like that. Find what you need to change to align yourself with those attributes on the list. For example, if you want someone who has a cheerful demeanor, but you're in a permanently sour mood, then you may have a conflict. Work on your attitude. Task 3. Pick your environment intelligently. I would also take note of the environment in which you wish to meet someone. We must pick our environment intelligently so we can increase the chances of meeting that person on our list. If you want someone who has a lot of mental strength and is family-oriented, I don't think you are going to find them at the local sports bar on a Tuesday night. If you want someone who is healthy, your chances are slim of finding them dining at KFC. You would have a much greater chance at the salad bar down the road, but I wouldn't be taking the KFC bag along with you. Just a tip. My friend always wanted someone who was spiritual while being very social. He was going to nightclubs and getting drunk beyond repair every week. He would then ask me why he couldn't find anyone that matched what he wanted. Simple. I told him that if he goes to a nightclub, maybe he shouldn't get drunk before looking for a girl who is sober. He should stay sober. That way he won't be attracting the opposite of what he is looking for, and he will be a lot more appealing to the girl who is sober. It's quite simple when you think about it. But that's exactly what you have to do. Think about it. If you want to find that person, make sure you're looking in the right spots. The last and most important aspect is to be patient. Never settle because of impatience. That will surely bring unhappiness and isn't fair to the other person. Great things come to those who are great. In order to see something as great, you must understand greatness. Invest in your own growth first, and make changes to become great within, and you will attract others accordingly. Fear of getting seasick. Some people fear getting into a relationship because they believe they will be giving up their independence. We like to think we are independent, which means we don't depend on anyone or anything. Realistically, we are always depending on ourselves, so it means we are dependent creatures. We depend on the grocery store to have our fruits and vegetables. We depend on people to buy our products. We depend on family and friends when we want comfort. We depend on the rain so we can drink water. So we are always dependent throughout our life. It is okay to depend on others, because we are all in this together. The challenge is finding the balance between your independence and what role it has, and the role of your dependence. This is a common social challenge, as many people have the idea that a relationship is restrictive. Again, if you attract what you must have in a person, then you will truly complement each other. Don't be scared to be dependent, but never base your complete happiness on another individual. You are the only one who can truly fulfill yourself. Sailing smooth. If you are already steady on the ship and have been for quite some time, keep doing what you're doing. You can email me and give me some pointers. I'm always up for learning. There is always room for growth, though, so you can still use these tips and strategies from vibrant couples I spoke with. If you want your relationship to enter that calm sea, this next part is also for you, your average people. I asked this vibrant couple that attended the gym I used to work at if I could sit down and speak to them. They had recently gotten engaged and agreed to take part. I found out that their relationship had been on the rocks, but they were able to save it, and they said it was actually stronger now than ever. About 1 year before we spoke, they were about to separate over a miscommunication. I was surprised to hear that their relationship had nearly come to an end. The guy had put on over 40 pounds in a matter of months, and she felt as if she was caught in a dilemma. In a way she was, because her physical attraction to him had started to decline, and she was concerned about his health. That might seem harsh, but being healthy and fit was something she wanted in her partner, so it's not wrong at all. The difference between a friendship and an intimate relationship is attraction, so it plays a major role. Looks might not always be the reason someone loses their attraction. It could be a shift in attitude, mood swings, inconsistency, or irrational behavior. She was also attracted to how in control and strong he was in his life, but that had diminished as well. Anger repressed can poison a relationship as surely as the cruelest words. One day she decided to tell him that he should start getting healthy and fit again. Taking the advice the wrong way, he began to feel insecure and thought she might cheat on him. He became paranoid and stopped trusting her even to go to the supermarket. She said it was killing her because she loved him to death and never wanted to hurt him, but she told him that she couldn't handle the lack of trust anymore and was close to leaving. This caused his pain threshold to hit the maximum, so he decided to finally sit down and face what she had to say. After communicating properly, he said in a sarcastic voice, "I don't believe you are going to do anything differently." The next day, she went and bought them both a gym membership. That's what I call enormous initiative. They began going to the gym twice a week, and now they are doing 5 sessions a week. It's a part of their life, and he assured me that he drags her out of bed most times now. They both look great, but most important, they feel great. He is soaring with confidence. Their business profits have increased, and he told me that looking the way he had, he would have left him too. What a great way to share time together while also looking after their health. They motivate each other and have fun. They help each other grow and always try to find a way to push past their limits. Empowering tip. Always communicate how you feel and exercise together. This couple was about to get engaged, but they had hit a rough patch. Their relationship was built on trust, so they would spend a lot of time apart and with their friends. They noticed that their engagement with each other had declined, so they decided to sit down and communicate properly. They discovered that they had been seeing each other far less than they used to, and that their formerly frequent trips away together had been put on hold for quite some time. Both of them decided to get into action. They agreed to cut down on their separate social lives and save money for at least 1 weekend away every 2 months. They didn't say, "We don't have the money," but instead took appropriate action to get the money. Going on trips with people has been proved to enhance many relationships and friendships alike. If you have ever been away with close friends, I'm sure you have experienced the bond that can form. Yes, some people do clash on trips. We are human, not perfect. But overall it does work. This couple assured me that they would never take each other's presence for granted again, and recognize that their effort really did get the right results. The tip here is to engage more with each other. Don't take the things for granted that once built your bond. Take action and do fun activities together. One guy I was coaching in a similar situation with his partner told me that he didn't have the money for trips away, and then I found out that he was spending a minimum of $250 on alcohol every week. This is just an example, but seriously, how important is your relationship? If it's not more important than the beer you buy each week, then it's not that important. If you are committed, you will make the money and find the time. There is always a way. Empowering tip. Go away with your partner or take up activities that are new to both of you. Do stuff that is fun and makes you feel great. Couple 3. We all know that when a woman asks for your opinion on clothing, she is most likely going to do it her way anyway, but it's one of the great things we have to appreciate. When a woman tries on a new outfit that she just bought and asks her partner what he thinks, he'd better say it looks good, because he probably won't know the difference anyway. She will then ask again, causing her partner to rethink and say, "Yeah, but I like the other one too." Then she will say, "Why, what's wrong with this one?" And her partner might reply, "Nothing, it's nice. I thought you just wanted my opinion." Then the final say is, Well, I like this one, so I'm going to wear it. The partner is left bewildered, and just as they are walking out the door, the question comes, are you sure about this one? I personally love this because if women weren't like that, guys would probably be walking around the streets naked. Women will willingly go shopping alone, but men don't stand a chance. We are too scared to bring something home that our partner doesn't like, because we know we will be going straight back for a refund. Not by force, but because we accept their expertise in the matter, and if they don't like it, then neither do we anymore. All men know they need a great woman, and the saying, "we can't live without them," is definitely a true one. The last couple I spoke with have been married for 18 years and are still going strong. They have 3 kids, and it's hard to see them without a smile. I desperately wanted to know what their secret was, and they willingly agreed to give me some of their time. The first quality that this couple has always been adamant about is honesty. They assured me that they try their hardest not to tread on each other's toes, but will always be there to help the other grow. The husband totally respects his wife's role, and the wife respects his expertise in certain areas. Always willing to listen to each other due to their mutual respect, they are helping each other fulfill their dreams. They also let me know that both being highly involved in their children's lives has had a great impact on their marriage. They have never taken each other for granted and said it was their honest communication, no matter how much it could hurt at times, that has given them a long, strong relationship. In order to have a great relationship, it's imperative that we openly communicate how we are feeling on a constant basis. Keeping issues to ourselves could cause us to act selfishly and irrationally, and that's usually how the battle continues. Empowering tip: be honest, communicate properly on a daily basis, appreciate even the smallest things, respect each other's dreams, and always be willing to lend a helping hand. Now that's what I call success. Summing it up, these are just a few of many couples that all say the same things. So many people attempt to save a relationship by giving material gifts. Your partner might not want a Gucci bag or a new watch, but instead might want just a hug. They may not want a vacation, or to be taken out for dinner or bought roses. They might want you to actually listen to what they have to say and be present. I wouldn't go into business with someone who lacks communication skills. I wouldn't build a friendship with someone who lacks them. And I definitely wouldn't get into a relationship with someone who doesn't make the effort to communicate. Why would I? It reflects the lack of respect and structure they have in their own life. To engage with your partner is absolutely crucial if you want a fulfilling relationship. If only more people were actually engaged in their relationship before someone got down on one knee to propose, there might be fewer breakups. It's usually the things most people take for granted that build a strong relationship. There is no greater relationship than the one between those who are self-aware. Friendships are such a beautiful thing. It is where one soul trusts another to find comfort and liberation on this journey.